Hello, Bernie Kerik.
Ah, you again. Are you W's pet goat?
Nope, I'm Nannygate.
I thought I was rid of you when I pleaded out those misdemeanor charges.
No such luck. You're now facing federal felony charges. Apparently, it's illegal to lie about your past when you're nominated for a cabinet post like the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Hey, remember when you used to be the New York City Commissioner of Corrections? This is just like that movie. Brubaker?
Damn your eyes.
Remember 1993? Boy, those were the days. First there was Zoe Baird, and after her there was Kimball Wood, and then came Janet Reno, and I knew she had no nanny issues. During the W administration, I, like most Americans, was largely unemployed for 8 years, except for Linda Chavez's nomination and yours.
Turn to the right.
Isn't it deliciously ironic that of all the skeletons in your closet, your mob ties, your Gestapo tactics at the Saudi Royal Family Hospital you worked for, the fact that you're the son of a murdered alcoholic hooker and you fathered an illegitimate Korean child, what brought you down is the fact that you hired an illegal alien to be your kid's nanny and didn't pay her taxes.
Yeah, big whoop. Like you never done it.
Of course I have, Bernie, old boy. But we're talking about you. In the first place, one of the responsibilities of DHS is immigration, and you hire illegal aliens in your own home. Secondly, Homeland Security and war with Iraq cost billions of dollars, and you're evading taxes. Thirdly, you're a law enforcement officer, and you're breaking the law. Fourthly, 3 months after the towers fell, you jumped aboard the 9/11 gravy train and went to work for Giuliani Associates. Giuliani, of course, being another scumbag who turned his blunders leading up to 9/11 into a license to print money. And finally, you've made millions. And yet you trust the care of your children, presumably more important to you than anything else in the world, to some non-English speaking wetback to whom you don't even pay a minimum wage, let alone enough to live on, and then you lie about it even to W's people. And yet you were the jackwad who was going to be in charge of security for the entire country? Jesus! Now if you're scoring along at home, and I wish I was, you had a Syrian wife, Hala, a mistress, your publisher/prostitute, Judith Regan, and a girlfriend from your days as commissioner of the corrections department, Officer Jeanette Pinero? How'd that happen? What, in the 60s, you watched too many Jack Lemmon movies? Still, Judith was like one of the family, I guess. Remember when your sister had to go to the hospital?
While Mommy is in the hospital, honey, you're to stay with one of Uncle Bernie's whores.
Mommy, how could Uncle Bernie have 3 aunts? All my other uncles only have 1.
Where did you conduct your affairs? Oh, wait, I remember.
Commish, you're doing a great job down here. I want to give you the keys to an apartment that the rescue workers can use, if you know what I'm saying.
Thanks. And here's your gun permit.
That was Anthony Bergamo, a man who ran over a homeless woman in a brightly lit garage on your watch and was never punished.
I took out a lease on the apartment.
Yeah, eventually. A neat trick, by the way. How did you afford a $6,000 a month pied-à-terre on a commissioner's salary? Liberty View. Rather an ironic name, isn't it? Considering you could see Ground Zero from your window. They should have called the place Rent Overlook. But you were never shy about taking gifts, just about reporting them. Take your big fat Syrian wedding, for example. Where'd that money come from? Your mobbed up best man and brother? By the way, was the mob part of your Homeland Security strategy?
Nice country you got here. Shame if anything should happen to it, you know what I'm saying?
But all bad things must come to an end. One day your girlfriend Jeanette found out about your mistress Judith. How?
Bernie, hello? Oh, here's a note. Darling, I love you. I can't wait to see you again. Ah, love, Judith. Judith? Who's Judith? Oh, maybe that's what he calls himself when he wears my panties.
You and Judith Regan had quite the whirlwind affair.
My wife doesn't understand me.
Can I suck your dick?
And then it all came crashing down suddenly on your head like, you know what I was going to say.
My wife's prego.
Can I bite off your dick?
I never let my affairs interfere with my job.
What about the $250,000 settlement the city made with Correction Officer Herbert Reed because you blocked his promotions after he reprimanded Jeanette Pinero? And didn't you stalk Judith Regan after she left you? Then there was that time during the affair at Phone News.
Maybe I'll call one of them Alan's America. You like that?
I like that. Yes, that's funny.
Freeze, motherfuckers! Judith Regan's cell phone is missing. Nobody leaves until we get it back.
Oh, look! Judith Regan quotes. These ought to be good. Want to hear them?
No.
You know, look at Monica Lewinsky gaining this huge amount of weight. This is clearly a woman who has suffered and is suffering inside because she has no depth of feeling and no morality whatsoever.
Is there a point here?
Yeah. How does Judith Regan speak so well with a dick in her mouth?
She talks out her ass.
Let's come back to your wife.
I did, eventually.
How did you meet her?
Which one? I had 3.
3? I only knew about 2. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
I married my first wife when I was in the Army in North Carolina. I was just a kid, really.
But you divorced her before you married your second wife, right? Bernie?
I refuse to answer that question on the grounds that it may tend to incriminate me.
Boy, lucky you weren't Secretary of Homeland Security, or we wouldn't have a Fifth Amendment.
What are you gonna do? Lock me up for my crime? Bigamy?
It's bigamy, too. It's big of all of us. Let's be big for a change. One man and one woman was good enough for your grandmother. But who wants to marry your grandmother? Nobody. Not even your grandfather. Certainly not Rudy Giuliani. Boy, I bet you two had a lot to talk about. Rudolph the Dick-Nosed Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, who closed down all the transvestite peep shows in Times Square and then put on a dress and kissed Donald Trump on film. You were always his fair-haired boy, though. His corrections commissioner, his bodyguard, his police commissioner, his employee at Giuliani Associates, and he vetted your nomination for Homeland Security.
So?
What's your relationship like today?
Good. Why?
What? Kerik? Kerik? No, doesn't ring a bell.
I was a great police commissioner. The number of murders in 2001 was the lowest since 1998.
Yes. If you overlook that little ugliness of 9/11, for a high school dropout, you sure are pretty good at lying with statistics.
I single-handedly solved 9/11.
Do tell.
It was me who found the Saudi passport belonging to one of the hijackers on the street.
Found? You mean planted?
No!
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Because when a plane crashes into a building, steel burns, but not paper. Was 9/11 on opposite day? Where did you work from on that day? In the terrorist command center that the city set up?
No.
Why not?
Rudy Giuliani put it in the, World Trade Center.
Let me get this straight for the folks who may have just walked in. After the World Trade Center was bombed the first time in 1993, Rudy Giuliani decided to install a state-of-the-art $13 million emergency management center in one of the two buildings voted most likely to be blown up on the day a Muslim terrorist is scheduled for a court hearing. Have I got that right?
No.
No. What did I get wrong?
We didn't put it in WTC 1 or 2. We put it in WTC 7.
So you were safe in there?
No.
But why not, Bernie? Before 9/11, no skyscraper ever built since the beginning of time had fallen down for any reason except controlled demolition. On 9/11, 3 skyscrapers fell down. World Trade Center 1 and 2 were hit by planes, but nobody expected the buildings to collapse. They were designed to withstand a plane crash. The Empire State Building was accidentally hit by one of our planes during World War II, and it didn't fall down. World Trade Center 7 was not hit by a plane. It was not even hit by a noticeable amount of debris. So why would World Trade Center 7 fall down?
Controlled demolition. The landlord, Larry Silverstein, has already confessed on PBS. I did a great job as corrections commissioner. Giuliani named a jail after me.
Yeah, the Tombs. So what does that make you? The Crypt Keeper?
The actual name is the Manhattan Detention Complex.
Yeah, because Mayor Bloomberg changed it back. Giuliani got covered in the blowback from your massacre after the nomination. But after 9/11, you two were thick as thieves, so to speak. You quit the force 3 months later to join his new business venture.
I needed a change.
The new Republican mayor, Bloomberg, was going to fire you.
Yeah, there was that.
It didn't bother you that you were making millions off the misfortunes of others?
No, I have mob ties, remember?
You went to work in occupied Iraq as interior minister, training the new Iraqi police force. That must have been exhausting, because after 3 months, you took a vacation. But that wasn't your first tour of the Middle East, was it? You worked security at the King Faisal Specialty Hospital. Your coworkers have described you as a goon and an enforcer. You faked on hospital employees who were drinking wine and fraternizing with the opposite sex, especially if the girls were the ones your boss, the hospital director, wanted for himself. Saudi Arabia was where most of the 9/11 hijackers came from. Don't you think it's a conflict of interest if the Secretary of Homeland Security is in the pocket of the royal family of that country?
No.
Why not?
So are the Bushes.
Before Saudi Arabia, you were in Korea.
Yeah, so?
So how did you feel when you learned that your mother had abandoned you?
Terrible.
So you would never abandon a child, right? Bernie?
Reminds me of a mother.
Reminds me of your mother. What's your daughter's name?
I call her Ayokiar.
Ayokiar? How do you spell it?
I spell it Iokiyar.
Me love you long time.
Ayokiar. That's lovely. Is it Korean?
No, it's an acronym for It's Okay If You're a Republican.
Haki-saki $5.
Let's get back to Hala. You are still married, I take it.
Yes, of course.
Just checking. It's been a couple of minutes. How did you meet your wife?
She worked at my dentist's office.
That was convenient.
What do you mean?
She had a job where she could wear a mask.
May I read to you about Hala from my memoirs?
Oh, yes, please. I have insomnia. This may cure it for good.
We despised each other. It was a running battle between us, me skipping appointments, her pointing out how inconsiderate I was.
Sounds like a rom-com. You've got pyorrhea.
She was a beautiful, fair-skinned woman.
That's what I like about you. You're not racist. Remember that private security firm you hired in Iraq? Downsized members of South Africa's elite fighting force? SAS?
Yeah, they were the best bodyguards I've ever worked with, so?
Help me out here, Bern. I don't recall South Africa being in a major war since 1945. Why would they need an elite fighting force? And if the SAS was so good, why were they downsized? Maybe because all they knew how to do was kill defenseless dark-skinned people? Aren't they really just Nazi light?
Duh. Why do you think I hired them? Can we get back to my book?
The one you wrote on City Time? With city funds?
No. When I got this job in August 2000, I promised to lower crime even as national figures were beginning to creep back up. I also promised to improve morale among police officers and to repair relations with the community, especially minority communities, after the shooting death of Amadou Diallo. I keep my promises.
Boss, the South Tower just collapsed. 23 cops are dead. When you get a sec.
Didn't you send two NYPD detectives to Newark, Ohio to investigate the pimp who killed your drunken whore mother?
Well, yeah, I did do that. I paid a fine, though.
You also gave one of the detectives a medal in August 2001. I guess you didn't have anything better to do.
Anyway,
You've got a Syrian wife, a Korean daughter, you've spent time in Iraq, and we know you like to fraternize with the locals.
Yeah? So?
So, as soon as you bang an Iranian, you'll have completed the entire Axis of Evil sex tour. You really ought to win something for that, Bernie. Tell you what, if I know when you're coming, I will bake a cake. One of those specialty penis cakes. Imagine if you had been confirmed as Homeland Security Secretary. That would have been awkward, given your past.
We can't bomb Syria. My wife's got family there.
How's about Korea?
My kid has family there.
Iraq?
I'll let you know when the DNA tests come back.
Are you really against bombing Syria? It's just your in-laws.
There's nothing wrong with the Secretary of Homeland Security having a Syrian wife.
It's like FDR being married to a Nazi, or Bobby Kennedy wedded to a Cuban, or Robert McNamara having a wife who was a Viet Cong, or George H.W. Bush living in connubial bliss with a Soviet. Feel free to stop me anytime here, Bernie, before I self-reference again.
I always say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, right, because you have mob
mob
ties. You know who you remind me of? Michael Chiklis.
Yes, a lot of people say that because he shaves his head also. And of course, he played the commish.
I never saw that show. I was thinking of Vic Mackey in The Shield. So, what have you been up to recently?
I have a website.
But of course you do. What's it called?
thepillarofstrength.com.
Why, was the pileofshit.com unavailable? Were they asking too much money for the domain name The Piece of Crap?
And I run a consulting business.
Just like every other epic failure. The Kerik Group. We lost the Twin Towers on our watch, and we passed the savings on to you.
This nomination has ruined me. Well, I can always get another best-selling book out of it.
No, you can't. I ate all your notes.
Maybe I can get Judith Regan to collaborate with me again.
Wow, what a good idea that is. You could call the book, If I Did It.
Where will it end?
I think we all know the answer to that one, Bernie. They may have changed the name back to the Manhattan Detention Complex, but I have a feeling they still have a room with your name on it.
Nothing doing. I have an 8 o'clock tea time at Club Fed.
Here's what I don't get. It's Nanny Gate, right? So where's the nanny? On December 12th, the Bergen Record said she worked in your home in 2003 when you were in Iraq. That same day, the Washington Post quoted your lawyer as saying she worked for you for 18 months and returned to Mexico in October 2004 as planned. The LA Times said she'd left the country in November 2004, under circumstances you did not describe.
So?
So which is it? And where is she?
There was no nanny. It was all a MacGuffin. Misdirection to keep people from seeing my real crimes.
So, how's that working out for you?
Not too good.
You're the real goat here, Bernie. You're horny, waddled, and hooved. You're a thug, not some great flawed man brought down by hubris. This is no tragedy. It's a satyr play.
I love my wife, but oh, you kid, I'd give my life to save my wife, but oh, you kiddo, now wifey dear is good to me, a wrong she never did. I love my wife, but oh, you kid.